In practical everyday life, the most important thought for overcoming temptations is set yourself a long-term goal, so great and so glorious that you will gladly forego a small temporary pleasure for it, and in view of which moods vanish into thin air. Without an ideal to pursue, your life is meaningless, and you are disoriented in the face of moods. Love, the fire of enthusiasm for the ideal, gives you the strength to overcome temptations. When it burns, you need nothing else, and you want nothing else. How insignificant are the desires and whims that beset you, compared to the beauty and sublimity of your ideal. When you consider this relationship, you feel how foolish it would be to gamble away something so great for something so small. What kind of goal could that be? This is for each one to find out himself. The most important goal of an Agni Yogi is the new construction. You want to grow greater. You wish to progress on the spiritual path, the path to God. You want to develop more and more the potential that lies dormant within you. You wish to become a new man, a spirit being of the sixth race. You want to approach the holy mountain of Shambhala. You want to be a disciple of the Brotherhood. You wish to prove worthy of your teacher and bring him joy. After death, you want to return to the supra-temporal community to which you belong, and would not like to find the gates closed. If you give in, you are no longer a disciple and cease to be a member. How hideous is the husk of petty carnal desires, from which it is so easy to free oneself. One has only to think of the hierarchy of light. You want to contribute to the establishment of the new world, of a higher culture, of the rule of the Mahatmas. Devote yourself to such a high goal with all the fibers of your being. Then you will say to yourself, I want that goal, therefore I also want the means. We greatly appreciate the ability to continue to strive toward the chosen goal, whatever the difficulties. But first, one must have a goal and realize that without it, there can be no advance. Every tennis professional and every concert pianist will tell you, reaching the goal has a price. The higher the goal you set for yourself, the greater the price you will have to pay. What is that price? To renounce everything that makes it difficult or impossible to achieve your goal. So, when tempted, ask yourself a simple question. Does what my transient personality torments me with bring me closer to the goal I have firmly set for myself, or does it move me away from it? I love my ideal. I want to reach it at all costs. Is it then sensible and goal-fitting to act in this way? Helena Blavatsky explains this using the example of the temptations of food. Eat only when you are hungry, and drink when you are thirsty, and never otherwise. If some particular preparation attracts your palate, do not allow yourself to be seduced into taking it simply to gratify that craving. Remember that the pleasure you derive from it had no existence some seconds before, and that it will cease to exist some seconds afterwards. That it is a transitory pleasure, that which is a pleasure now will turn into pain if you take it in large quantities. That while there is another object that can give you eternal bliss, this centering your affections on a transitory thing is sheer folly. That you are neither the body nor the senses, and therefore the pleasure and the pains which these endure can never affect you really, and so on. Practice the same train of reasoning in the case of every other temptation, and though you will often fail, yet you will achieve a surer success. You make yourself aware of the damage you will suffer if you give in to temptation. You will move away from your goals. Above all, you will become smaller. You think of the remorse that will inevitably follow, because you have been unfaithful to yourself and to your guiding ideal. The satisfaction derived from the gratification of personal will and desire is infinitesimal by comparison with the remorse and sorrow which will follow when the soul memory has flashed a completed scene of the results of such selfish gratification. You make yourself aware of the benefits you will reap if you overcome temptation. It is precisely through this victory that you get one step closer to your goal. Above all, you grow greater. Decidedly, every disequilibrium must be eliminated in a natural way. No passionate imbalance can be arrested by command or by compulsion. One must recognize the usefulness. Then comes true evolution. But without realization, it is impossible to overcome the lower earthly passions. Therefore, we should not speak of renunciation at all when you reject a cigarette, a glass of wine, meat, a piece of chocolate, or a mood. In fact, abstinence is a gain for you. We observe. If you stand firm in temptation, you take a step forward. If you give in, you fall behind. Thus, temptation is not a misfortune you have to cry or feel sorry about, but on the contrary a good fortune, namely an opportunity to grow, to advance towards your goal. If it were not for the many temptations, obstacles and difficulties on your path, you would have no possibility at all to realize your ideal. Therefore, the attitude of an Agni Yogi is: I rejoice in temptations. I muster all my strength and go into battle joyfully in order to pass it victoriously. I will overcome and thus take not only myself, but also humanity as a whole a step forward. This is easy to say, but difficult to realize. It requires constant spiritual practice in everyday life to acquire and safely maintain such an attitude.